Alright everyone, I have a small temporary setback. It's small. This is on the TIE Fighter, not major. First off, this worried me a bit, running the fibers to the back of the cockpit. Let me drop the video camera where you guys will be able to see things. Yeah, this I'm going to do away with. Actually, no, I remember why I kept it. Fiber, the back. The glue is still curing on it. And let's do a zoom. Okay. So I can't really play with this too much. Let's put it where you can see the cockpit. Let's move the light out of the way. If I take one fiber and put it in the light, you guys can see that light lighting up back there. Take the other fiber, put it in the light, the short one. This one's a lot shorter. And you can see that light lighting up. Those two lights are there behind the pilot. They are to be, one's red, one's yellow. I'm going to put this back up here and let it dry, so those fibers stay put where they're supposed to be. Now, that's not the setback I'm talking about. The setback I'm talking about, let me raise the camera back up, and it's going to delay me doing any lighting with the TIE Fighter at least until tomorrow evening, maybe Friday, I hate to say. There, now you can see my bald, shiny head. It's the laser cannons. Alright, I'm trying to find them on the sprue. There they are. It's taken its sweet time to focus, but they're right here. Okay? Now, I've got fiber optic that's the exact same size as them, but it's not going to look right. I already stuck some out the end of the front of the ship of the TIE Fighter. It doesn't look right. I'm going to have to fix it. So I have to go to the hobby shop and get some brass tube. Hopefully I can find some brass tubing. It's the same size as this fiber. If not, I'm going to have to do something else. I'll come up with a solution by the end of the contest. I know I will. I tried some plastic tubing. I have plastic tubing that's the perfect size, but it's far too thick, I think, and doesn't look right. Not to my eyes, anyhow. I tried sanding it using a Dremel, and of course the Dremel speed's too fast and it melts. I tried using the Tamiya handy drill, and well, I don't get a good result there either. I could just sit there and take and sand it forever. I got a drill press downstairs. I could try that. It would spin at a slower speed. I can adjust the speed on it. I'll get something figured out by the time it is, in the next day or two. I'm going to try the handy drill again, see if I can sand it down with the handy drill. Because I was using files and that's just slow. Maybe sandpaper would be quicker with a handy drill. I just need to thin it. If I can thin it down about half the thickness that the tube is already, and that's why brass tubing would work, it's the perfect thickness, I won't have an issue. And I think I'll find brass tubing that's the right size, simply because this is a pretty common size of fiber. And it's like 1 millimeter fiber. I'm going to try the handy drill again, but again, this is my setback. I don't have anything that looks like the guns. I can just stick some fiber hanging out there, but it doesn't look quite right. If I can case it in a brass tube, it'll look a lot better. Okay? It'll look an awful lot better. And I just figured out something. We'll see. I'll be back in a little bit. Again, I've got a day or two to figure it out with. I'm going to stop for the night. I'm going to go eat some food. And maybe I'll come back and wire the Raider. Maybe I won't. BB's working on Bear Guy in a little bit. So we're definitely doing that. Talk to you later. Okay. The only real challenge I have left with the TIE Fighter is the laser cannons. They have a very distinctive look to them. And the plastic tubing is far too thick. I went and got some brass rod, but I couldn't find any in the proper size. is also just a little too big. I can deal with that. But there are some other difficulties, and I have to notch this back in about a millimeter. And that might be hard to do. Plus, there's supposed to be a ring around it at the base. You guys aren't deceiving yourself. You see the chopper out. If you're going to do any scratch building whatsoever, I suggest you get yourself one of these. Because I am able to cut this plastic rod, and I'm holding it on one of the lines that's on the base of the chopper. Okay? And I am literally cutting styrene rings out. Now here, let me zoom in so you guys can see this. I'm going to have to reposition the chopper. Notice I didn't say reposition the camera. There you go. There's one of the rings I'm cutting. Very, very small ring. I've got 3 of them so far. And one of the good things about this, I might actually have 4. Yeah, that one's defective. One of the good things about this is it's not crushing the styrene as it cuts them. Now, that is the problem with cutting this with an X-Acto knife, is you're going to crush that styrene. You're not going to get a perfect ring. And I tried. You can't get it nice and flat. You can't get it nice and even. I'm going to see if I can get some thinner ones, but I got 5 right now. I only need 2. Now I'm going to attempt for a slightly thinner ring. I don't know if that's going to be possible. We'll see. Well, it feels like it cut something. Oh, yeah. That's a much thinner ring, but it wasn't even. But here. Put that where you can see that one versus one of the others. You can see the difference in thickness. I'm like shaving a ring off the end now. So I'm going to cut about 5 or 6 more, see if I can get a perfect one. Get a couple of perfect ones. Like that one. That's looks like it's deformed. I'll have to look at it up close. Yep, that one came out deformed. Well, I'll just keep going and see what I get. That one's not deformed. But I'm going to get my rings for my fiber. And what I'm going to have left is to figure out how to make the ends look proper. And I think I figured that out last night talking to the wife. It'll be some work, but we will see if I can do this. One more, and I think I'll have enough. Yeah, I've got enough good rings. Okay, I'm going to quit this. Move them where you can see them. I have the thicker ones and the thinner ones so I can play around with it a little bit. Now if I can get the end of the laser cannon to look the way I want it, I'll show you what I do for that. We will be in great shape. I got a couple of choices. I might try some aluminum foil tape, but that might be too thick. Yeah, that would work because that light blocks too. And I don't have to paint it. I'll give the proper look. Alright, I'll think what I'm doing. I might use some construction paper too, because black construction paper light blocks. And that will have to be painted, and it'll give it a different texture. So I'll experiment a little bit. It's going to mean I need a fresh X-Acto knife blade, high magnification, a bunch of other stuff. So let me put these rings away so I don't lose them, and I'll get started on that, and I'll show you the results when I come back. Alright everyone, after 5 or 6 material changes and all sorts of crazy stuff, I finally got this. I'm going to bring it closer to you guys so you can see it. The camera does not want to focus on that. It's not very big either. It's still not focusing. This is my test piece. I think that's about as close in as we're going to get. I've got a plastic ring with 4 plastic strands surrounding it. It's pretty similar to what the original part looks like. Not completely the same, but close enough. For me, I'm going to make a jig so I can do these better. Okay. Once I get my jig made, I can make my 2. I need 2 of these. And I upsized it did finally focus. I upsized the fiber I'm using. This is 1.25 millimeter fiber. I was using 1 millimeter. The 1.25 is the exact same size as the kit part. So it's going to be better in scale. Okay. Now, the original part. Let me get that for you guys. The original part is right there. And here's my mock-up. We're losing focus too. There we go. I'm not holding them all perfectly the same. My mock-up and the kit part look a little bit different from each other. My mock-up's a little bit bigger. Yeah, it is. It's a little bit bigger, but not a lot bigger. Oh, wrong side. No wonder. I'm looking at it and going, oh, they are really far off each other. Well, they are a little far off each other. I might reduce the size a little bit. I can also sand this down a bit after I'm done making it. Which is funny, is the fiber coming out the center is the same size, but the ring and everything else is not. They're too big. I'm going to go see if I can make that ring out of brass. I don't know if I can because it's a pretty thin ring to make. I got brass tubing that would be more in scale with it. A little bit more rigid. In the plastic sheeting, it's going to be really hard to get it thinner than that. Because that's pretty thin already. But anyhow, I have a part. And I don't know how many things I've tried to imitate the kit part. Which is right here. Okay. There they are, side by side. And again, the inner diameters are the same. It's just the ring and everything else is too large. I tried doing this out of paper. It wouldn't take it out of paper. I tried out aluminum foil. The aluminum foil is too thick, too thin, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to keep going at it and see if I can figure anything out. I might just stick 2 fibers out the front because I really don't know if anyone would notice it. Being honest, that's what everyone else always does. They don't try to imitate the laser things. I could just stick the fibers out front and put the rings around them because the rings are fine. Oh well, I'll be back in a little while.